I'm live! Hurrah! Hi, everybody. It's a Monday morning catch up. I promised myself that I would come on YouTube every week and get into it a bit and get a bit more of a sense of how YouTube works, what my followers might want, what my community might be looking for. So I'm just trying to do it every week, and this is what I'm doing. It's a really, really beautiful day. I think I might open the blinds a little bit. So, quick 5 minutes catch up for me this week has been really interesting. I spent when was it? Last Sunday, I think. It was 20 minutes on Australia, on the Australia Broadcasting Corporation, ABC, I think it's called. I could have remembered that more easily. The ABC at 11 o'clock at night, and it's a nightlife program, so it goes out to Australia. And I was talking to people all over Australia. Very random. I don't know how it happened. And then I got followed by a documentary company, documentary festival in Melbourne. So that was also quite surprising. So that seems to be a thing. I have suddenly got a relationship with Australia. I'm not quite sure why. That was really, really fun. And then this week, I'm trying to catch up with all the different things that are going on. I've had a conversation today with some people that are creating really amazing art-inspired urns for ashes, because quite a lot of the ashes urns that you get these days are just really miserably kind of Victorian and urn shaped, and it doesn't need to be like that. And so they've been working with all these different artists all over the place. So that's really fab. And then one of my highlights last week was I recorded a podcast with a woman called Megan Trump, who married the River Avon in an attempt to get the river personhood status, which would mean that it could be protected and represented. They do this in New Zealand, where you can represent a river in court if it's being damaged or something awful is happening, which is happening to 97% of our rivers, apparently. There's just sewage everywhere. And so she decided that she would make a commitment in a proper formal wedding ceremony to the River Avon. And it sounds just quite sensationalist and a bit gimmicky. But when you get to chat with her, she's a poet, she's like an eco-activist, really. And she makes pilgrimages to the river site every anniversary. She felt really, really responsible when she made this commitment, had this ceremony. People came dressed in suits, they had drumming. It was the real deal, and it's so interesting. I'd love you to listen to that podcast. So that will be coming out probably around spring. That's my new thing. And then another thing that I'm planning to do is to do some recordings for my podcast with my wedding couples, because I'm stepping back into doing weddings again, which I'm really excited about. And I've got such a backlog of amazing stories to tell, and I never got around to telling them for whatever reason, and I'd like you to hear them. So I'm hoping to bribe a few of my couples, and I'm in touch with most of them, to come on and have a chat with me. I also I booked a wedding. I had this call. This is just the most brilliant story. I'll just share it with you quickly. I had a call from somebody who I did a funeral for her late husband during the period between lockdowns during COVID. And we did this incredible memorial for him. He was quite a well-known artist in Birmingham, well, nationally actually. And we created an artwork with, these little squares of canvas that you can get. Everybody had a piece of canvas, and we all made a painting on these bits of canvas so that it could be made into a mosaic. And we held the ceremony in the art gallery. The art gallery paid for me to do the work, and it was in an exhibition space with all of his artwork everywhere lining the walls. So he was really present, and we had a champagne toast. Anyway, so that was then, and we're 2025 now, so that must have been, excuse me, 2021, I suppose. And I always see the photographs of that event on my photo album, the albums that you get at the library, and it always comes up, and I always share the story about it because it was one of my really, really special moments, and I loved doing it. And then the phone rang, or she got in touch by Instagram, and she said, I'm getting married. I've met someone and we're getting married and I've fallen in love, and would you be willing to come and do the wedding? It's in a back garden in Surrey. And I I'll be honest with you, I wept because this person really, really went through it the way many of us did at that point in time. It was very lonely, isolating, devastating. He was very young, she was very young, and it was bleak and terrible. Anyway, we hopped on a Zoom on Saturday, I think, or Friday, and we had this really emotional, fantastic experience talking about her falling in love, and I met her wife to be, and we talked about how it happened and what that felt like for them and how they were integrating Jason, who died, into their life and into their ceremony. And they're really, really happy for me to share the story, and I'm hoping they'll come on and talk about it in person. This is a really good example of how creating a connection with your celebrant and having a relationship with your celebrant can be really valuable over the course of your life or in your community. We're not just random people that you never meet again. But what we don't know as celebrants is how we impact our customers and our clients in the long term. And she'd remembered me and I'd remembered her, and we had become a part of each other's lives without ever talking again. And I thought that was really, really powerful. So I'm looking forward to that wedding, which will be this year. And I'm hoping that we can get them on to talk about their antics, because they're really interesting and really lovely. So that's brilliant. I've updated a couple of my websites. So now if you go to jess-may.com, that will take you through to my weddings website, Jess May Special Days, my funerals website, Crazy Diamond Celebrations, and opening ceremony, this podcast, YouTube as well. So you can get a broader picture of everything that I'm doing. I've fallen out with Google in a massive way, and I'm just determined to spread the word about my work in different ways. I went to a wedding open day at the Saltdean Lido on Saturday, met loads of really nice local suppliers there and some fascinating, brilliant people. So I really, really enjoyed that. I hope that's a good enough update for now. I hope you've got interesting things going on too, and that the sun is shining where you are. Yesterday it was stormy and vile, and today it's as bright as it's ever been. So that's nice. I'm off to meet a couple of my really close friends for coffee, and I'm meeting another new celebrant who's local, and we're going to chat about what we do and share a little bit more about that. Keep a lookout for Coffin Cafe. Me and my friend Katie Costello and Gida Moniz are going to create something called Coffin Cafe, which is like an informal thing where we can meet and talk about all things. We're probably going to do quite a few recordings like this so that we can share with you all the stuff we know about funerals and end of life. So that's that for now, and I will see you soon. Bye.